Hello, this is Marty W5MRM, and welcome to another video. The other day I was reading the SWLing post, which can be found at swling.com/blog, and I ran across this article that you can see here titled, Jeff's Bedside Radio Search Ends with the Sangean CL100. This article was interesting to me, as I too have been looking for a bedside radio replacement. After reading this article, I thought it would be a good idea to do a short review of the radio that I've chosen for my bedside radio. The radio that I have chosen is the Sangean ATS 909X. Access to the shortwave broadcast bands was one of the primary deciding factors for choosing this radio. I've had the radio for a couple of weeks now and have become familiar with its features. The review you're about to see is geared towards the radio's use as a bedside radio. This review will primarily cover the features of this radio that are related to bedside use. Many of the features are also used in portable or day-to-day tabletop use as well. So if you're interested in learning more about the Sangean ATS 909X, please stay tuned. For my use, shortwave broadcast band capability is a must. Beyond shortwave bands, this radio covers the medium wave AM, FM, and long wave bands as well. The radio is a solid performer on all bands. The radio comes with a wall wart style power supply. Unfortunately, I found that this power supply introduces some interference. The good news is that the radio will also run on 4 AA batteries. As you can see, there is a battery indicator here. The radio will accept standard alkaline or rechargeable AA batteries. The rechargeable batteries can actually be charged directly within the unit itself. My experience to this point is that batteries will last a reasonable period of time in this radio, and you'll get plenty of use. You'll see that this radio has a very large, nice display with large text. With the accompanying backlight, this display is very easy to view at night. If you're powering the unit using the wall wart and the radio is on, the backlight will actually stay on indefinitely, which is a nice feature. If the radio is off, the backlight will actually go off after about 12 seconds. It would be ideal if, when using the wall wart, that the backlight would stay on indefinitely. The radio also has a very large speaker for a radio of this size, and it has excellent sound quality. The sound quality is likely the best that I've heard from a portable radio of this type. The only other portable radio, modern portable radio that I've heard sound quality like this from is the Texan PL880. The radio also has a 3-position tone control as well as a headphone jack that can be used along with something like a pillow speaker or a standard set of headphones. The radio has a large tuning wheel that is easy to use without need for a light. So if you're laying in bed and you reach up and you want to tune the radio to a different band or to a different frequency, you can easily spin this dial around. There's a button in the middle of this that changes the tuning from slow to fast. So if you want to move through the bands very quickly, you can change this to fast. Or if you want to fine tune or go through the band slowly, you'd push that button and you can see there's an indicator here on the display. This radio also has seek type tuning buttons that are found right alongside the tuning wheel, and these are easy to locate without the use of a light. The radio itself has 351 memories available for the shortwave bands. The radio comes pre-programmed with many of these in there, but they're fairly easy to change. There's also a priority button, and you can set this priority button to any band or any mode that the radio uses and a frequency that goes along with that. And with the click of a button, you can retune the radio directly to your priority. The radio has 3 alarms that can be set individually. You can choose between a buzzer or a frequency to wake to. The buzzer will change tones as it's going off and will sound for a minute at a time. And if no buttons are pressed, it will alternate between on for a minute and off for a minute until a button is pressed, and this will go on for up to 30 minutes before it shuts off. If you choose the radio function, the alarm will play the desired frequency for up to 60 minutes. You can snooze the alarm for 5 minutes by pushing any button here, with the exception of the power button or the backlight button. One of my main complaints about this radio, as far as bedside use is concerned, is the way that the sleep timer function is set up. The sleep timer can be set in 10-minute increments from 10 minutes to 90 minutes, but in order to activate the sleep timer, you've got to hold the power button in until you see your desired amount of time on the display. So for instance, if I hold this in, you'll see it going from 90, 80, 70, 60, 40, and it'll stop at 30, and the radio will shut off after 30 minutes. However, you cannot set this to 30 minutes for every time you turn on the radio. You can do this on radios like the Texan 660 or the Texan PL880. As soon as you hit the sleep timer or create a sleep timer, every time you turn the radio on, it'll turn off after that period of time, which is more convenient for my use. Other things I found that I dislike about this radio when we're talking about bedside use is it lacks an ATS or ETM tuning feature on the shortwave bands. It actually has this feature on every other band, but it does not have it on the shortwave band. So there's no way to tune and store all available frequencies that have a signal into a memory bank on this radio. There's also not a sync detector that smooths out your signals if there's fading on the bands. Other nice to have features that would make this the ultimate bedside radio would be backlit buttons. Most of the radios of this type or of this caliber don't have that, so that's not a big loss here when we're talking about this radio specifically. Also, this does not have NOAA weather alert or all alerts reports. That would be a big plus. As I showed you earlier, there's an article about the Sangean CL100 as the ultimate bedside radio, and that radio does have those features. The last thing is the kickstand on the back. It elevates the radio a certain amount, but it doesn't elevate it all that much. So when you're laying in bed, you're not going to have a good angle to where you can view the screen on this. You'd have to get some type of like acrylic stand or something that would stand it up at more of an angle to make it easily seen from your bed. So in summary, the ATS 909X is very capable radio to use as a bedside radio, but it's certainly not perfect. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a perfect radio for this. I'm not convinced that this is going to be the radio that I stick with at this point in time. As mentioned before, my biggest issue with this is the way that the sleep timer is handled, which seems like a minor thing, but for my uses, that's really what I'm looking for, is one where I just push the power button and the sleep timer sets itself for about 30 minutes at a time and will go off. So in closing here, I'd love to hear what your radio of choice is for a bedside radio. If you would, please leave a comment below and let me know. If you enjoyed the video, please consider giving me a thumbs up. I also have some other shortwave listening and ham radio videos available on my YouTube page, so please stop by and check those out. And I'm trying to get into a cadence where I post about once a week, and I'd love to have you as a subscriber. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so, and look forward to more shortwave and ham radio videos from me. Thanks for watching. This is Marty, W5MRM 73.